ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking back hits. Subscribe. Let's have a little bit of something in there. Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Hot Toys action figure review on Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron movie masterpiece MMS 285 Hulkbuster Iron Man 1/6 scale collectible figure. I gotta give a big thank you to Comic and Figure Addicts for letting me borrow this figure to review for you guys. This is just one of those pieces at the $850 mark. Is not a good time for me to pick up with having a newborn child and all, and I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to review this product. Be sure to follow Comic and Figure Addicts, links in the description below to their Facebook and Instagram, and if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, you gotta swing by and check out the store. Anyway, looking at this piece right here, I am surprised I'm able to fit this huge packaging over here on my review station. This stands at 26 inches tall. This is a huge styrofoam box right here. We get this nice gold foil right over here for the Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm not gonna turn this around, but I'm gonna show off the sides right over here via photographs, as you can see, and then here's the other side, and then here's looking at the back of it, and then removing this huge sleeve right over here is not very easy to do. So I'm just going to show you pictures of what this looks like without the sleeve on it, which shows all the people responsible for creating the figure. You can see this flap over here, and you can see we have the instructions underneath, along with some accessories. So that's it for the packaging, you guys. There's not much to that, so let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's the Hot Toys Hulkbuster Iron Man figure out of the packaging, and this thing is just amazing. It's pretty mind-blowing. I mean, just being in the presence of this huge Iron Man figure over here with all of this paint detail. I mean, we're gonna get a really good look at all the paint detail on this. It really stands out so well on this big piece right here. We get a good amount of articulation, and there's some really cool functions if you didn't know already, and this thing is just so massive. Look how sturdy he is, man. Oh, that looks great. I just absolutely love this thing. I wish I could get one, but oh my god. And he is heavy. He is very, very heavy, and he is very sturdy at the same time. I mean, just an incredible looking piece, man. So let's get a closer look. Oh, and this is definitely one of those figures where you want to read through the directions before you mess around with it. Even though I got a demonstration while at the store, I still went through every single page of this thing. So usually when I do my reviews, I like to show off the accessories that come with the figure first, but most of the accessories that come with this figure I've already placed inside the figure itself. He does come with a ton of batteries, and I will be showing off the light up features on this figure, but man, look at that paint detail. Isn't it amazing? And I love what they've done with the eyes right over here. I think that looks great. Get that cross hatching pattern inside there. I love all the scratches and all the gashes throughout, and we get this beautiful gunmetal color throughout on the figure. Very nice bright red, and we do get a light up function for his head, so you just pick this off right over here, and then we get a little switch, and you can see how the eyes light up, and that looks great. Very nice bright eyes. I dig that a lot. Maybe if I darken things up, you could see that pattern in the eyes a little better. And it's definitely a blue color. I really dig that a lot. And put this back on. You could lift up his head and you could see the faux Mark 43 just buried right inside there. All that metal right there just looks great. All those little pieces. I mean, it looks very realistic. Yeah, I just think this looks awesome. So since the paint apps on this guy are just absolutely stellar, I'm going to let them speak for themselves, and I'm just going to show off the paint apps on the whole figure while I give you guys a little drum solo. Now, to be honest with you, I feel like that demonstration doesn't even really properly do the figure justice, but man, you get the idea, right? Anyway, on the back right over here, we have this little flap that is held together via magnet, and you can turn this switch on right here after you insert the batteries, and you can see this whole back portion light up. You get this whole piece right here that has these 3 little lights that look great, and you get these big 4 right here in the middle, and then you get 3 more right there on that side, looking awesome. And then he has his arc reactor in the very front, just half covered right over here, but you can still see it, you know. Well, can you? If I darken things, you can see it's shining right over there. So it shines only a little bit in the front, but it's mostly for demonstrating the lights right over here on the back of the figure, which looks awesome. I really like how that came out. Then we also have a light up feature right here on the legs. I can just lift these up right here and turn that on, lift that up and turn that on, and then you can see how those shine. You know, it's not extremely bright, but I love the color blue that comes from them. I think that looks great. Yeah, you can see right over there on the kneecaps, we get some light up function, or the same lights are going on the very front right there, and on the sides you get these little guys right here shining. It looks really cool. Yeah, so cool to the point I had to get the camera down here, but woo, man, that is awesome. All the mechanics and everything. It just looks so awesome. Yeah, I wanted to turn the lights on the helmet right over there so you can see the front of him all lit up. But there is more. He does have light up features for his piston puncher thingies. I don't remember exactly what they're called. But you can remove them right over here. And then we have the port where we're supposed to put the batteries on and everything. You turn the light on. Then this flips up. Then this piece right here is supposed to flip up right here. And it's very tricky to do that, but it does actually flip up. I did get it on the other side. But you want to be careful. There it goes. So you can see that lifts up right there. And then you can have these pistons come out right over here. And then you can see how this lights up in the very front. And that looks pretty neat. I dig that. So you can go ahead and add this back on to the forearm. And that looks pretty cool. I'll get into the articulation in a bit. He does have some pretty sweet articulation, man. But just showing that off right there, I think that looks pretty cool. But I want to retract all this. Get this closed up, and you can lift the hand up, and you can see that he has his repulsor blast right there. So to get the batteries inserted in that, you want to lift up this panel that's on the back of his hand, and there that goes. Kind of tricky to pop that off. And then after you put the batteries on, just flip the switch, and then there's one of his repulsor blasts. Not extremely bright, but it does look cool, man. Again, have to get a close-up of that. You can see that honeycomb pattern in there. It's great. Look at the paint detail on his hands, too. There's like not one spot of this whole figure that doesn't have awesome paint detail. Now it's a Hulkbuster without some battle damage. We get this replaceable piece right over here for his left chest plate. You just lift these up, and then there's this little square piece that latches on in here, and you just lift that up. You can see the square piece right over there. And then we're just going to replace it with this guy. There that goes, and then lift that right back up. And then close this down, and now we have this battle damaged section right here, which looks great. I dig that. Nice details once again. So one of the very cool functions with this figure is that you can put a Mark 43 figure inside here, and it does come with the bust, or I call it the faux Mark 43. But anyway, what you want to do is you want to lift up these pieces right here that are held together via magnet. So lift that up, put that off to the side, and then we have these pieces right here, and we're going to lift these up and swing them upwards. They have 2 hinges, and I'm going to go ahead and lift that up. And then we have the whole head assembly right here, but we're going to detach right over here at the bottom. There's this little peg that connects on the inside of this guy. So we're going to go ahead and move these downward and get that out of the way. And then we want to get this piece right here in the very middle, which ports in and is held together by magnet, and it comes separately. It has this hinge right over here, and you got to put them together. And then we have these pieces that we're going to move off to the side. We have this piece right here that is held together via magnet, which looks very cool. I mean, I think it looks great. And then we have this other piece inside right here that we're going to take out as well. There's all these pieces that go in here to make this look the way it does. And there's this panel right here in the very back, and we're going to lift that all the way up, and then we're going to lift the head up and get this all out of the way. And then you can see the Mark 43 Iron Man bust inside there, looking very cool. I love how that came out. And you can go ahead and take this guy out, and he does come with some articulation. You can move the head side to side and he'll look up a little bit and down some, and you get some head tilting. I guess it's just on a ball joint right there, and it doesn't move anywhere else. And then you can see we get the switch, and you can turn that on, and you can see the arc reactor all lit up, looking great. And then you want to take the faceplate off, and then pinch off to the sides right over here. Lift this up and insert the batteries, and then that'll turn on right there. And then just put this all back together, and then now we have a lit up Mark 43 bust. And I'm going to go ahead and try to put this guy right back inside where he came from, which is always tricky to do for some reason, because you can take him out very easily, but putting him back in is much more difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and take this piece off, and it just connects via these two ball joints. It recommends that you do that, and then you can just place them in here. Then that back square, rectangle anyway, fits into this port right here in the very back. And before I put the figure inside there, look at all that gunmetal gray! Oh, the gunmetal gray! Oh, I love my gunmetal gray! Oh, it's so beautiful! So much beautiful gunmetal gray. Doesn't it look fantastic? Yeah, I'm just very pleased with that. Then here's a closer look at the Mark 43 bust too, which actually has some nice paint detail. You can see some scuffage on his chin right there, and on the forehead just a little bit. So they even gave this guy some nice details. It's easy to put him in there once that Hulkbuster head is off, and there he goes. That is sick. Ah, jeez. That is so awesome. I really dig that a lot. And then one thing I wanted to mention too is that you can pop off this chest plate right here. I don't know exactly why, but you can see we get all those nice details right over here under the chest plate. And he comes with an alternate chest plate that you could place right here. That's very, has so much gunmetal gray. I really like how that looks too, but I do prefer having just the red piece. So if you want him, you know, I guess conforming to the rest of the suit of the Hulkbuster in there, it looks a little better, I guess. And that's how he looks inside there. One thing I want to mention is that Hot Toys does include a screwdriver to interchange the batteries and tweezers. That's one thing I had mentioned in one of my reviews. I don't know if I'm one amongst many that have requested tweezers, but I'm very glad that they included the tweezers. It helps a lot in placing the batteries in on this figure. Now, one thing I didn't think about trying until just now is that you can put the Mark 43 Tony Stark head sculpt on this bust figure right over here, so you can have a maskless Tony Stark inside the Hulkbuster, which I think looks very cool. I love that you can do that. So yeah, the heads are interchangeable, but I do want to try putting this guy inside the Hulkbuster. He does come with these little leggings right over here to protect your Mark 43 figure so you don't get that scratched, and it's very elastic. And I haven't tried putting this on yet, so I'm going to try doing this off camera. The fact that the Mark 43 die-cast figure fits inside this thing so well just blows my mind, and I think it is totally worth the wait. Hey man, it's better to wait for something to come out good than to have something come out earlier and not be so good. That's just my personal take on just everything in general. Okay, so I'm going to lift this panel up back over here, and then lift this up, and oh, we got to take these off. Don't want to forget to take these off because I already put everything inside there, and he actually fits in there fairly easily. And again, taking all of this off, there's just so many pieces to this, it's just kind of crazy. And you can see my Mark 43 die-cast figure inside there, the Tony Stark head sculpt and everything, and that just blows my mind. And just lift up right here, and he just comes right out, and he's got his pants on and everything, which were not easy to put on, man. I gotta say, it is a bit time consuming, but I don't know where the heck this material came from, but it's actually very impressive. Is this like some NASA technology or something? It's just super elastic and incredibly durable at the same time. But it wasn't that hard putting him on there, you know, it works. You know, as you can see right here, I did get him on there. And when you put him inside the Hulkbuster, you want to have his arms tucked in all the way to the sides, like so. And then just getting a shot looking down the Hulkbuster, you can see those two cavities right over there. That is very cool, makes me happy to see. A lot of more gunmetal gray. So let's get our Mark 43 back inside here. Just be careful. Want to make sure that the arms are tucked in. And you can kind of feel those two cavities for the legs as you push down. And make sure that the hands are all tucked in right here. And, oh, jeez, I'm just so impressed by this. This is incredible. Just oop, there goes his faceplate. That is just absolutely amazing. God. So impressive, man. Just so impressive. I mean, like, this figure all on its own is about $400 nowadays, I think. $300 to $400, and it's inside an $850 figure. Damn, that's a lot of figure in here, man. One thing I think that's definitely worth mentioning is that it is a bit tricky getting the Hulkbuster head on inside here, because we have a port right over here and a port right over here for these ball joints. Then I'm going to go ahead and reattach all these parts right here, which aren't really the most difficult thing to do in the world because they're magnetized. I just love how that works. So to go over the articulation on this guy, his head movement doesn't move up too much without exposing anything. It'll just move up that far, and then you can move it down just this much. And you do get side-to-side movement right over here at the head, which is great. And you can move this up and down a little bit, you know, or you can move it all the way up if you'd like, so you can see the Mark 43. Once again, you get these double-hinged shoulder joints right over here for the shoulder pads. So it's not a shoulder joint, but it's a double jointed shoulder pad that moves in and out right here. And you can also move this piece up and down right there. You can move the shoulders all the way outwards at 90 degrees, which is fantastic. And you can rotate a full 360 all the way at the shoulder. We also get a bicep swivel right here. And then we get this double hinged elbow pad that allows the elbows to bend in that much. And it can straighten out all the way. Then we have this flexible piston on the inside of the wrist, so that moves inward. So you can move the wrists down and you can move them up. You also get side-to-side rotation. You get a thumb that moves down and up a little bit. You get two hinges in the thumb, and you can rotate the thumb, and then you get an index finger right here that has two hinges, and then same thing with the middle finger, and then we get this last finger at the very end. He only has 3 fingers. As far as the torso movement goes, he only moves side to side a little bit. And you can see the pieces kind of, you know, coming apart just a little bit on me right there, but you just get a little bit of side to side motion. No real pivot or anything. As far as the legs go, we have these 2 flaps on the sides that are double hinged, so you can get those out of the way before you start moving the legs. There is no outward movement on the legs at all whatsoever. You can move the legs forward just that much, and they will move back that much, and there's no side-to-side movement over there. We also get a double jointed knee, which is really tricky to bend all the way in all by yourself, but you can see it has 2 bends in right there, and that is very impressive. I like that a lot. And this back portion recedes into the thigh, which is great. We also get ankle and toe movement, where you can move the toes upward and they'll move down a bit right here. And you get heels that move downward as well. You get these pistons right here in the back, so they're already moved all the way downward, but you can see I'm pushing them back up. We also get hinges right here on these 2 heel spurs. And then we also get a flap right over here, which definitely helps with the articulation as well. There's no side-to-side motion or ankle pivot at all on this guy. Now to measure out this Hulkbuster figure, I see him standing at about 23 inches tall, so almost a 2-foot tall figure. And then comparing this Hulkbuster next to another ultra-sized figure, we have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Metroplex. Thank you, Sean Long. You can see Metroplex is just a tiny bit taller than Hulkbuster. And then here's a Hulkbuster Iron Man figure next to the Avengers movie Hulk figure. Thank you, Marvelous News. And man, this doesn't really fit into scale to me. I feel like this is out of scale. I really don't think the Hulk was that much smaller than the Hulkbuster in the Age of Ultron movie. If anything, I would like to see the Hulk maybe up to here, but this guy was already much bigger than I felt he needed to be. So it's just the scaling matching the figures. And to be honest with you, it still looks pretty good. I mean, it's not enough to bum me out. And then here's a Hot Toys Hulkbuster next to the NECA Toys quarter scale Age of Ultron Hulk figure. And these don't scale well together, and the Hulk's knees are bent. So with his legs extended, he would obviously be much taller than the Hulkbuster, but I wish they were closer to the same size like how I remember them being in the comics and the cartoons. And then there's a Hulkbuster figure next to the Mark 43 Iron Man with his pants still on, and wow, you can just see how this Hulkbuster towers over the Mark 43. And then here's a Hot Toys Hulkbuster figure next to your average 6-inch scale figure. We have the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man, and oh, you're so tiny down there, Big Time Letdown. And there's a Hulkbuster blasting away with the lights all on the figure, and man, this is such an impressive piece. I wish I could pick this up, you know, it's just outside my budget, but hey, even if I had $850, or I think it's gone up to like $1,200 now on the aftermarket, I mean, me personally, I'd rather invest it in a Craviotto snare drum, you know, because those things are amazing, or that Ludwig copper snare drum I've been playing with with at work. I don't know. But still, this is incredible. I would like to get one if I could, but at the same time, I'm not terribly bummed out. I don't feel like I'm worthy enough to own this guy. You know, some Hot Toys collectors out there, they have all the different Iron Man figures. Those guys, I think, are really worthy of owning such a beautiful piece over here. But man, this thing is absolutely stunning. My biggest gripe is that there's no outward hip movement. That just really limits the ability to get him into more dynamic poses. But if collecting Hot Toys Iron Man figures is your thing, then yeah, man, I recommend it. I feel like the $850 at retail price for this thing is definitely worth it, especially compared to the price point of other Hot Toys figures. I think that the price point on this actually matches up pretty well. Outside my budget, but still a very cool piece, and I do recommend it if you are that kind of collector. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I gotta thank, again, Comic and Figure Addicts for letting me borrow their figure. Please check them out. Link in the description below. Also, I still have pre-orders up for the Shartimus Legendary Collector t-shirts. Please go ahead and pre-order one of those if you're interested. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this review. Let me know what you think of this Hulkbuster figure. I gotta thank all these amazing people over here for going the extra mile and supporting this YouTube channel and making it possible for me to put the time into making these videos, especially this guy right here. Oh man, it's taken many hours to make this video, but it's been a lot of fun. If you want to see a photo gallery of images, it'll be over at Marvelous News and ShartimusPrime.net, and you can find me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at links to everything in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. I'm gonna play with my toys today. 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 Well, I don't care what the strangers say. I'm gonna play with my toys today.
That's crispy.
Hey, new Shartimus Prime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.